Hi everybody, I'm Scrap, and I got news for you. The game that you know and love, it's gone! Well, no, not really. The game's still here, but it looks better, it feels better, and most importantly, it performs better. New graphics and lighting, new solo content, performance improvements, and a lot more new things. There are so many changes introduced here, and in this video, we'll go over all of them. So welcome everybody to the Radiant Wilds update, and let's get right into it. Let's begin with the most obvious change of them all. Albion Online has received an immense visual overhaul that changes how the biomes and the terrain look, introduces a new style to the water and the lighting in the game. Do you like using shaders on games like Minecraft or Skyrim? This is basically that. The color of the terrain, the textures of each specific biome, the environmental assets, everything has been revamped. The water now interacts with the lighting of the game in a different way, and now it reflects the surrounding environment depending on the biome. Rivers, lakes, and coastlines reflect the sky. Wet surfaces and snow also reflect light more realistically. You can even see the clouds moving through the landscape now. How cool is that? And for an even better immersive experience, now we have small environmental details around the world, like updated vegetation to each specific biome, drifting pollen, sand gusts, and snow particles floating through the air. You can even see small insects flying around the map. And all this was applied to the fullest in the tutorial beach. They really went with the pedal to the metal on the new player experience. The new textures, lighting, and improved assets will surely capture the attention of many new players and bring them into our favorite MMO. Oh, and speaking of new players, Albion Online is coming to Xbox with this update, and the developers announced it with this incredibly well-produced trailer. This means not only there should be more people going around the world, but it also means that you're gonna have a bunch of new players to gank. Now, this new Xbox era of the game brings a complete revamp of the controller support system, which was really bare bones when I made my full controller guide. God damn it, I'm gonna have to make another one. It comes with a brand new UI for gamepad play that is fully customizable through the HUD editor. It has better navigation across menus and windows, and even multiple controller control schemes. So you can switch between those depending on your playstyle, having the ability to set up the targeting modes and allowing you to filter the targets. Okay, these are great news and all that. But for the longest time, this game has had a very big performance issue when it comes to playing on any device or platform. From the craziest computers out there, to even on your most advanced Chinese falling ISO speed smartphones. What the fuck is this joke, man? What? But not anymore, because this update includes the first steps of several client and network optimizations, aimed specifically at reducing stutters and improving performance during crazy situations, such as large-scale battles. And the best part of all that is that it announces a continued work with server hosting partners. That should improve connection stability across all regions and servers. This also includes changes to the gameplay itself, like adjustments to certain performance-heavy spells that will now have their impact effects distributed across multiple frames, in order to avoid performance issues. In the patch notes, they also mentioned some nerd shit like expanded the use of asynchronous loading assets, prefabs, and visual effects to reduce blocking during gameplay, and updates to the system responsible for loading environmental objects and dynamic world elements. Me not smart enough. So me only know that game will go Now we, as players, we also get some additional network monitoring improvements. Specifically, two things. A packet loss indicator to monitor connection issues, and a telemetry and logging tools for network performance. Hey, I'm not losing you here, am I? Because I can see the audience retention graph going down. Here, let me put you some Subway Surfers on the screen. I'm gonna need your full attention for what's next, because we're about to get into the big stuff of this update. And I need to introduce you to some brand new tools and content for Albion Online. Do you remember Model Ledger and other similar websites? You know, the ones that show you bills based on win rate? Well, fuck that shit! Throw that into the garbage and hold a funeral for them. Because now we have the Armory. The Armory is a new in-game system that helps players discover effective equipment builds that are based on real-time gameplay performance. You can explore different combinations of armors, weapons, and utilities that have proven successful in each specific type of content you want to play. And it does this by continuously evaluating gameplay data, keeping up to date with balance changes, and updating the recommendations to reflect the current build trends. Let me explain how it works. Open the Armory and select the type of content you want to play, filtering by activity type and group size. You're gonna get a bunch of build recommendations. but you can filter them even more by selecting metrics like win rate, damage, date, popularity, or even by specific equipment pieces, if you want that build to have that specific weapon you like to play. Each result shows you the full build, the gear equipped, abilities, and consumables used. And one of the best parts of all this is that it includes a radar chart where you can compare that build you liked with other builds you want to try out. These motherfuckers added yo-yo stand stats to the game. Lastly, you can save the builds you liked directly to the loadout system, so you can equip them quickly each time you need it. And you know what? This is pretty fucking cool. But apart from the usual gameplay loop that we're all used to, it feels like there should be a new content or new game mode so we could test out this new equipment tool, right? Oh my god. 1v1 arena! You know how long I've been waiting for this? Don't get me wrong, I love arenas, and I love playing the game mode with my friends. But man, I just needed some new solo content. Somewhere where I could join fast and start beating the shit out of someone, like right here and right now. Well, that's precisely 1v1 arenas. A new ranked PvP mode focused on structured one-on-one combat. It works like this. Go to the Arena Master, select the game mode. The matches are played in a best of 3 format. If you take too long in one round, you get into overtime, and a huge cloud of poison gas starts closing in, forcing you to fight. The game mode has its own rank, independent from the other arenas, and that means it also has its own reward system. Unfortunately, this game mode will be launched as a limited time mode that will run for the duration of Season 32. But it seems like if it does well, it may just become a permanent game mode in the game. Only time will tell, but I know I will be playing that shit. Now, we also have some exciting news about the Crystal Arena. Because after years of having to play on the same location over and over again, feeling like I'm playing League of Legends again, we are finally getting a new map for the ranked Crystal Arena that will refresh the gameplay and change the competitive meta, because it includes new choke points and additional flanking paths. It's always a welcome change when you get to experience your favorite game modes from a completely new perspective. And I vow, I swear right here and right now that this year I'm gonna make it to Crystal Rank. You'll see. But if you think that's all there is to the Radiant Wilds update, you are wrong. We're only halfway there. They really want to add as much improvements as possible with this update. I'm talking specifically about a bunch of quality of life improvements to the game, like a new Take All button. That button will allow you to instantly loot the entirety of the items being given to you. All the items from PvE drops and chests can be taken at once with a single click. But don't worry, because this only applies in situations where all the loot is guaranteed to one player. So this means it won't be available for items dropped by other players, or in situations where you have to fight for the loot, like in CVC fights or faction warfare battles. Another quality of life change is the new Windows focus system. Remember there were many occasions where opening a new window would close the other ones? Well, now that's a thing from the past. Those windows will now remain open, and interacting with a window automatically brings it to the front. That way, it prevents overlapping or hidden interface elements. Basically, it works like how you use your computer on a daily basis. Another change, the loot UI now displays 4 columns instead of 3, allowing you to see more items at once. The Laborers UI has been updated to match the rest of the game's interface. Also, now it shows a warning that if you don't collect the items from the Laborer in 7 days, those items are lost. Many people didn't know that, so that's a good thing to have now. Potions and food slots in the action bar now display the number of items equipped. The region map now has new buttons to use, and they display different kinds of pings for your party. The item details UI now shows the estimated market value per item, and also the market value for the entire stack you have on you. And finally, may I have your attention please? We have something really important to talk about. It sits close under the faction warfare changes, but this will affect everyone the same way. Okay, listen up, because for the first time in a long time in this game, we are getting some changes to the world map. Yes, you heard that right. In order to improve, adjust, and overall balance the connections from certain zones and regions in the game, the developers are deleting several underground passages between yellow zones and red zones, and also several connections between Caerleon regions and other regions around it. First, regarding the underground passages, we are getting some new direct connections between some regions instead of those tunnels that you had to go through. And regarding the Caerleon connection changes, the connection between Wire Forest and Morgwell was removed. there's a new region connection between Morkwell and Long Timber Glen. The Caerleon underway entrance in Long Timber Glen was moved to the opposite side of the map from the Morkwell entrance. That way those two are not so close to each other. And finally, the direct region connection between Roadscape Steppe and Broken Fell has been removed and replaced with an underground passage. That was a lot, wasn't it? A lot of new content, balances, adjustments, and overall new things for the game. But I'm gonna have to politely ask you to buckle the fuck up. Because now, it's time for the combat changes introduced in the Radiant Wilds update. And these changes were made with the new 1v1 game mode in mind. All Access! The cooldown of the Barrel Rush ability has been reduced to help Access keep up with enemy mobility in 1v1 situations. The Crystal Reaper! It seems like this weapon is overperforming in PvE, like way too much. So the damage against mobs has been reduced. The Sky Strider Bow! Apparently, some players were getting stuck in the air due to running out of mana while being up there. So the bolt energy cost of the Sky's Fury ability has been reduced to 0. Zero! Nada! So those bolts cost nothing to cast now. But they reduce the damage per bolt, and also the energy cost for the initial cast was increased. They'll really be out here trying to buff this weapon like it's not beating my ass in the depths every single time. The Arc-like Blasters. The developers are nerfing the damage per cast of the Flicker Shots ability, because this weapon as a whole has been performing like crazy on both solo PvP and small-scale PvP. The Siege Bow. The Vicious Barrage ability is getting the way it does damage changed. Now it deals percentage health damage, because they want to reduce the effectiveness of multiple siege bows all hitting the same targets. The Demonic Staff. The fear duration per stack of the Anguish Soul ability is being increased by 0.25 seconds at all stack counts. So that way it functions better as a defensive tank or CC during small-scale burst windows. The Infernal Staff. The combustion ability will now also fear all enemies within 4 meters of the initial target. The initial target is the only one who will keep the trail, and the mobs feared will run away a bit slower, so they don't get too far away. The Dawn Song. The instant damage of Flaming Phoenix has been reduced to reduce the burst damage in large-scale fights. The Flamewalker Staff. The impact damage of the Spontaneous Combustion ability is being slightly reduced, since it's overperforming in solo PvP and overshadowing other fire staff options. The Arctic Staff. They are giving the Arctic Volley ability a shorter cooldown. That should make the spell more reliably powerful, but to balance it out, the damage per volley is being reduced. The Pole Hammer. The Groundbreaker ability is getting a significant damage reduction, so the Poke and Kite playstyle is not as effective in solo PvP. All Holy Staffs. The Holy Orb ability is getting a reduced stand time. That way, it feels more fluid to use. All Maces. The Guard Rune ability is one of the best defensive tools in the entire game. It defends against anyone and everything. So they want to balance it out by increasing the amount of allies it can cover all the way up to 10 allies. But the amount of resistances increase is being significantly reduced, like by a lot. So keep that in mind when you're using that ability. Also, the Deep Leap ability of the basic mace is getting more damage to promote solo and bruiser playstyles. The Quarterstaff. It's a weapon that has been overperforming a lot in solo PvP, so they are reducing the damage of Bold Leap by almost 20 points. The Phantom Twin Blade. The first and second cast are getting additional damage, as a sort of reward for being able to keep the enemies inside the areas of damage. The Blood Moon Staff. The Tear Open ability was a bit too strong up until now, so now it's going to require 2 shift chargers in order to use it. This way it puts more pressure on the player's upkeep and reduces the sustain of the weapon. The Light Color. This fog-ass beard is one of the weapons that I hate the most. It's way too overpowered, and as the developers say, Light Color players in solo PvP have been too slippery. So they are removing the immunity to slows when you transform into the Downbeard. The Primal Staff. The Wild Onslaught ability is getting a significant damage increase to help those players compete against the meta. Because, yeah, I mean, going 1v1 between Primal and Downbeard, it's literally Coffin Baby versus Hydrogen Bomb. The Clarent Blade. Here's a quick buff. The 3-stack damage effect of this weapon is getting increased to help it find a place in the meta again. The Carving Sword. The cooldown of the Fearless Strike is getting increased. That way, the mobility potential of the weapon is nerfed, and that should promote more diversity regarding swords in solo PvP content. All War Gloves. They are giving the counter ability a huge buff. The reflect percentage is going up to 150%. so it's going to be a more attractive option against opponents with telegraph damage abilities. The Raven Strike says thus: the Earth Crusher ability of this artifact weapon is getting a buff. The damage per charge is getting increased by 10 points at all stacks. The Battle Bracers: the Falcon's Match ability is getting a longer multicast time window. That way, players have more airtime to aim and recast the ability. The Demon Helmet: the Hush ability is having its cooldown reduced to be more reliable across all content types. All Shoes: the movement speed buff duration of the dodge roll ability is getting increased to promote its use in the matchups where it makes sense to use it. And finally, at the end of this update, there is a huge change to the overall battle mode meta in CVC content, and it will be very impactful for your guild's large-scale battles. But, as some of you may know, I play this game alone, by myself. No guild, no friends, no party, and no bitches. I'm like Batman in this bitch. So I let my boy Psion explain this part of the video, since he has a lot of experience in big-scale content. Take it away, Psion.
Battle mounts are supposed to be a powerful tool that turn the tides in large-scale fights. But nowadays, it's almost mandatory to bring a large number of them with you if you want to stay competitive. Actually, over the past few seasons, any ZVZ clip you watch is going to be full of battle mounts. So from now on, each battle mount will add a fixed disarray value to your alliance, when that battle mount is present in the region. Here are a list of those fixed values. This means that your disarray will go up by that fixed amount depending on which battle mount was used. This contribution is calculated on top of the disarray your alliance would normally have. But this is important, so pay attention. It only starts adding that value when the battle mount fixed disarray contribution would exceed 15 points. So you do have a window of disarray where you can still use battle mounts without getting any more disarray. But after that, it does start piling up fast. Along with this change, the maximum disarray level has also been extended to 99, so there will still be a penalty for using too many battle mounts, even when you would have been at max disarray before.
Yo, a huge shout out to my friend Psion, who jumped in to explain that last segment. Be sure to check his channel, he has amazing videos about economy and PvP. The link will be in the description down below. Whoa, that was a lot of news and updates for a single video. But for now, that's all I had for you today. And if you enjoyed this video, you should watch my other ones. I put a lot of effort into editing and explaining things the best way I can. So if you want to help me out, go watch those. I'm sure you're going to enjoy them. Remember to like this video, subscribe to my channel, follow me on Twitch. My name is Scrap, and I'll see you all in the next one. Goodbye.
Don't you notice how